Iris Drechsler will be conducting the interview with Benji, and it will be between 10 and 15 minutes, so stick around.
So good afternoon to everyone, and I'm going to ask Benji maybe 2-3 questions, and then you can ask him anything you want. So, are you relatives, friends, audiences, all of the above? Okay. Benji, is this a unique Bar Mitzvah project, or do many people do movies for Bar Mitzvah?
As far as I know, it's very unique. I haven't met anyone who's ever done a film for their Bar Mitzvah project or Bar Mitzvah project, and so I'm very sure it's a very unique project.
That's interesting. I would have thought that more people would choose making a video, a home video. No, it's what do people do for Bar Mitzvah projects usually?
Well, most of the people I know usually things such as JRA and sometimes working with animals. A lot of it is raising money or working with foundations.
Okay, okay. I really liked him when I saw him, and I thought that the gentleman, and I thought that if I like him so much and he comes across as someone I would gladly go and visit and spend time with so that I can get to know him better. I'm thinking that if I thought this as a viewer, then you must have felt this making the movie about him. Did you tell me a little bit how did you like him right from the beginning? Did you get to know him? What?
Yeah, he was wonderful because you know, when he comes into the room, he has a very positive and very happy-go-lucky personality, and he's a great guy. He was really nice and very optimistic about everything.
Did he like being interviewed, getting the attention? Was it difficult for him? How was it? I mean, all the cameras and you and questions. He's not young.
No, he's not. Yeah, but
he wasn't young.
He was great about it. He was very cooperative, and I think he liked it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I want to ask you as a filmmaker. You wanted to educate people about the Holocaust and give them more information, but then you have this really unique personality. How did you balance between the two topics? I mean, how did you decide where you want your focus to be in the short, in the movie? No? Do you understand the question?
Kind of. You mean,
kind of? Okay.
How did I balance between, you know, a very depressing event and a more...
Right, like more educational stuff, informative, and bringing out his personality because he is so special. He's a Holocaust survivor, of course, but, you know, giving him the right space and in the film. Okay.
Well, I mean, we were very courteous with him, and there were times when he, as you saw in the film, there were times when it was a little difficult for him to talk about things. But as I said before, he was very positive throughout the whole interview process. And I think that we portrayed also in the film too his great personality and the events that he went through.
You did. It's very, very impressive, so I congratulate you on this.
Thank you.
There are a few messages to be taken from the film. I don't want to say what my messages are. Maybe you can say, and maybe we can share with the audience. What do you think, or what were you hoping that people after watching this movie will think about?
Mostly, first, the education, because of course, with the Holocaust, especially nowadays, when it's become under lots of controversy with people even denying it and things like that, I think that it's really important to hear a first-hand account. Even if it's from a documentary and not in person, I think it's very important that people learn about the Holocaust. And also, I think a major theme is that here you have a guy who went through one of the worst events in history, but he's still very happy, very nice guy, and I think it really shows that even though you're going to go through awful, awful times, you still need to come out of it, you know, optimistic.
Okay. I was thinking about even the place of music, at least to me. Did you play an instrument, right?
Yeah, I play the piano.
Piano.
My family is very musically inclined, and I think incorporating music into it, also considering he's a musician, kind of just came naturally.
did you relate to the place music might have in someone's life in difficult times, in good times? To him, it was more than just playing music. It was so much more.
Yeah, music is a very influential part in a lot of people's lives.
For you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, you know, and it can shape moods and things like that. And I think that music really shapes one's personality and how one feels, and can make someone feel better in times of, you know, especially with him, because he was in the concentration camps, and as he said before, he played music, and that helped him, especially when the Americans came. He used his music as a way to communicate with them through jazz.
Right. Do you want to be a filmmaker, or was that enough?
I mean, I'm not trying to set any, you know, be very definite with it, but I definitely enjoyed making the film, and definitely I would do it again. Okay. And so, I'm not saying this is what I'm going to do, but definitely a possibility, yes.
And who do you hope will see this movie mainly?
I'd say people my age, definitely, because as the new generation comes, people need to be educated about it, because there's not going to be a lot of Holocaust survivors around anymore.
Right.
That's because they're all very old, and I think, especially with this film, concerning it's basically a first-hand account of the events, it can really help people my age and younger understand the Holocaust and what happened there.
Great. I would like to hear if you have questions or comments about the film. Yeah, there's someone. Hold on, you'll get there, you right.
The filming was done really well with switching between cameras when you were asking questions, and then switching to his face, and also the editing. The music was good. Where did you get the clips, the historic clips, and how did you integrate those into the film?
Well, we hired a man named Dan Freed, and he went searching for it, I think mainly online, and found them, and pulled some strings and got them for us to use in the film. And he did most of like the nitty-gritty editing to make it look really nice, because of course if I tried to edit it, maybe it would look nice, but it wouldn't look like that. So we had him do most of it. And same thing with the cinematography. We hired some cinematographers to come in with cameras, and they filled the whole room with cameras. It was very crowded. And yeah, with the stock footage, he edited it in, and he found, I think it was pretty hard for him to find. Some of it was very difficult, he talked about, and that's pretty much it.
I'd like to say first that your comfort and your articulate discussion was such a joy to witness. I also had a question, and that was, how long did you know him? That was not the first time you had met, I assume. How had you been communicating with him before the time of the concert?
Well, obviously, my cousin had known of him because he's a client of my cousin's. My cousin is an accountant. I had researched him previously there were not many, but a couple articles on him before, because he had played with Yo-Yo Ma. They had done articles on him previously. And so I researched those, and I formulated questions off of those. That was the first time I met him in person. My dad had talked to him through the phone, and he also went over once to just talk about what the interview was going to be like and what to expect from him. And that was the first time I met him, and it was really great. And then we invited him over to our house for Rosh Hashanah, and that was the second time, and that was the last time I saw him. So.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia, there is someone here.
Horner says at one point that when the airplane workers were being interrogated by the Germans, a German jumped on him, quote, breaking his back, unquote, which of course counts for his short stature and the terrible lump on his back and his difficulty walking. But he was incredibly lucky, first of all, not to have been shoveled right into the ovens, because very often people who were injured or were near death were shoveled into the ovens without going to the gas chamber. And he was also very lucky in being able to heal enough to walk during his terms in these, in and out of these concentration camps. So he was very right in saying that luck played a real part in who survived and who didn't. I was very, very impressed when I heard about this. To survive with a broken back in these kinds of conditions is really miraculous.
It is. He was very fortunate also because once they broke his back, he was luckily transported to Buchenwald, and though he had to walk on foot, he remained with the pack successfully, and then 3 days later, they were liberated. So he was very fortunate that at the time of his back breaking, he was not immediately, but very hastily rescued, and that was very fortunate, yes.
I'm Benji's dad. I just wanted to follow up with that, in that Dr. Horner spent a year in a full body cast after liberation. So it wasn't a quick heal, unfortunately.
Did he ever talk to you about his choices for his life in relation to what happened to him?
He became a heart doctor at Jefferson, and I think that's mostly because he was saved and he wanted to help others, and I think...
Did he talk about it, or are you inferring this?
He didn't actually talk about that, but I found that through the research and through looking him up, and and he did talk about how he wanted to help people, and I'm thinking you can connect it too.
Any other comments or questions?
Did he go to school here? I mean, when did he do his medical training? I mean, with this tremendous physical disability, medical school to go through all of this was my first question. And my second one, does he have family here? Did he create any sort of a family? Or is he alone?
For the first question, I'm not really sure. He didn't really talk about coming to America and his life in America. He mostly talked about in the concentration camp and liberation. As for his children, he does have, I believe, 2 sons, and I'm not exactly sure where they live, but they are alive, and they actually congratulated me on the film also. We sent them a copy.
Well, I want to add my congratulations. You are. I'm assuming you're still in high school, I guess. Right?
I'm actually in 8th grade. Last year.
Well, you're high school, even better.
Yeah.
Middle school, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I want to congratulate you once again on your voice, your elegant speech, and sir, you've got something there to be proud of.
Yeah, I amen to that
one. I agree. Thank you to all of you for coming in, to Benji, and good luck to you, Benji.
Thank you.
And everything you do. Wonderful project. Thank you so much.